Well, is Dan Andrews quitting? That's the big question on everybody's lips. Happily, we have a Victorian handy to answer the question for us, Rita.
Oh, yes, yes. There is a succession-style planning, apparently. The Deputy Jacinta Allen has been told to get a team around her so she can hit the ground running. This has been months in the planning. This is a report from the Herald Sun. Very interesting times indeed. I don't know why Dan would want to be leaving. He's the most dominant politician in the country right now. Mind you, the state is in debt. Horrid budget has just been handed down. So, yeah, you may want to leave before things get any uglier. But a tiny, tiny ray of hope possibly for the Victorian Libs, the unelectable Victorian Libs.
Ooh,
because John Roskam...
IPA, former head of the IPA, John Roskam.
He has put his hand up for the seat of Warrandyte. They are voting on this today. He's running to be the Liberal candidate there. And to have someone of his standing, his abilities, his intellectual prowess and just backbone and conviction, something that the Liberals lack, would be an enormous asset. And I think they would be utterly mad not to select him as their candidate. But I'm not a member of the Liberal Party. I'm not in Warrandyte. But the vote's on today. And I think, James, if he's in there, he'll actually give Dan Andrews a little bit of opposition, which he has not faced throughout his premiership.
Because, Rita, this is a thing that, you know, as an observer from outside Victoria, keeps confusing me. You see all of these people, certain pollsters on Twitter and all sorts of folks saying, oh, well, you know, the Liberals' problem is that they're too conservative for the Victorian electorate. Now, I think we're going to have an interesting data point here if John Roskam gets up. But could you explain, Rita, I want you to explain to me, please, just how the Victorian Liberals are apparently too conservative for the electorate.
Examples of just how conservative these Vic Libs are. They went to the last state election without a single centre-right policy. They agreed with treaty. Forget about the voice. They've signed up to the treaty. They've signed up for the most radical trans laws anywhere in the world. The stuff that Scotland was contemplating that saw Nicola Sturgeon lose her job. No, Victoria, the Vic Libs are for it. They wanted emission targets bolder and bigger than the Albanese government has in place. So if that is too right-wing, too conservative, then, you know, I don't know what I am here sitting here, but, I mean, it is just ridiculous. So to have actually some opposition within the parliament would be a breath of fresh air for everybody.
Well, I agree. John Roskam would tear strips off the Dan Andrews government. So I'll just remind viewers, the IPA, the Institute for Public Affairs, John Roskam was really the guy behind the success of that organisation over the last decade or so. And, you know, many of the people you see here on Outsiders, whether it's your Bella de Breras, your Gideon Rosners, your Daniel Wilds, Brianna McKee, who we had earlier, so many great people have come that John Roskam has mentored and brought, you know, young people who he's tutored and mentored and given them the space to express themselves and their ideas. You will remember it was on this show that we had Gideon Rosner right at the heart of the lockdowns, right in the middle of the lockdowns, brave enough to walk the streets of Melbourne saying, this is insanity. Well, it was John Roskam who encouraged Gideon to do that. So I would say to the Victorian Libs, here's your chance. If you want to finally get some good press from this show, here's your chance. You vote for John Roskam today and finally put an intellectual into the Victorian Parliament. He'll be by himself, by the way, as an intellectual in the Victorian Parliament. He'll be lonely and we will miss him, the rest of us, but someone has to do the good deed. So Victorian Libs, here's your chance. Don't blow it.